Son of a... Really? Well, that was a fail. Oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to play the Notre Dame intro because Notre Dame beat Texas A&M last week, but it's not wanting to load. So we'll just have that running in the background. That's right, guys. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish took our Week 1 game of the week over A&M, and it was a really good game.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Jake here along with us. Week 2 just around the corner. I believe it starts tonight.
Yes. Might have even started last night, technically. I'm not 100% sure.
Let me look and see what we got. I think it starts tonight with an unranked battle. Yes. We got 3 games tonight. We are picking one of them.
Okay.
But as we just let Notre Dame's fight song just finish out, because God, I hate this song.
Long story short, while Trevor kind of basks in the agony, this was the fight song of his arch rival from high school. Just a
100%. 100%. And you know the worst part?
What?
I was taught that fight song in elementary school, and I still can't get that goddamn song out my fucking head. That's the only song we sing in choir or music class.
Yeah?
Like, my God, like, every time it plays, it's like that, those words fucking in my head, like, get out of my head! Anyway, guys, that is right. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Leprechaun Hats, took down the Aggies of Texas A&M in Aggieland, Kyle Field. I wanted to do the Notre Dame intro, but for some fucking reason, StreamYard is just like, nope. So we're doing the fight song. That's right. We're on to week 2. 2 games of the week this week. I had to convince Elijah, at least on... Well, we didn't really have to convince him because the second matchup is actually a really good one. It's behind me. You can barely see it, but I'm pretty sure by this color here, right here, and then right over here, you can tell what 2 teams this is. But, and you can probably guess by the side of Jake over there, the far side, way, no, other way.
Nope, this way.
Over there. You could probably guess what the second one is, but we'll get to those later on. We have predictions to get to. Let us bring those up real quick. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's do that one. Okay, so we're going to start off with our only Friday night game that we're picking, and it's actually a really good one. It's BYU traveling down. I don't even know where SMU is, but
they're in Texas. I
know they're Texas.
Can't remember exactly.
Because they have a rivalry with TCU, but
yeah. But I don't know if they're in Fort Worth. I don't know if they're in like Houston,
Dallas.
Rice, or they are in Dallas. Okay.
So BYU is going to travel down to Dallas, Texas, to the Gerald J. Ford Stadium to take on the 2-0 SMU Mustangs. Now, this is actually going to be a really good game. Looking at the line, according to ESPN Bet, because that's what I'm going to be using for the lines and stuff. I don't want to look up what DraftKings or what Caesars has. I'm going to just go based off of what ESPN has. The line for this game is actually 11.5 for SMU, which is really interesting because I think BYU is going to have a much better year, especially in the Big 12. They had an okay season because transfer from I think they were FBS independent before they went to the Big 12. Am I wrong on that?
No, I think I remember BYU was an independent, just like Notre Dame. But again, I'm not 100% sure. And I think Air Force and either Air Force or Army were another independent before they.
Army was the other one because I said this last week or week 0. The Army-Navy game is apparently happening after conference championships, but Army-Navy is now a conference game.
Yeah, I
which
remember you
is
mentioned that. Yeah, I remember you
so
mentioned that. I think last couple weeks.
unless they're not going to include conference records into that game, which they did this week, I think. It's either this week or last week they did that. No, it's this week they're doing that because there is a Big 12 versus Big 12 game, but it's not conference. We'll get to that game later because I think we are picking that game. We are. Okay, we are picking that game. So we'll get to that later. But back to SMU and BYU for a second. Looking at last week's games for both sides, because SMU has an extra game. SMU beat Nevada in a really close battle, and then they beat, who the hell is this? Houston Christian. I'm assuming an FCS school. Actually, that's a really dope logo. Hold on, I'm going to share this real quick. That's actually a really nice logo.
Houston Christian, yeah.
That's a really nice logo. Props to Houston Christian. Good colors, good logo. I love the team name Huskies. I mean, I have a Husky. We all know that. But yeah, they're 2-0 to start the year with a close battle over Nevada and a dominant win over Houston Christian. And then the BYU Cougars are coming off a win over Southern Illinois, who I don't know if anyone knows this. If they don't, I'm keeping it to myself. I know someone personally that I've met that actually went to this school. So,
and also fun fact too, as a former University of South Dakota Coyote, one of the years for marching band, we actually went to Southern Illinois. That was like in 2014 or 2015. So I'm also kind of familiar with Southern Illinois.
All right. But yeah, this game is going to be played in Dallas. Like I said earlier, 96-degree kickoff time, degrees for weather at kickoff time. That's going to be a hot game. That's gonna be
it's going to be spicy. Yeah.
So, Jake, I'll let you go first for this week.
And you said SMU has the 11.5 point edge?
SMU is the favored by 11.5. We should actually intricate that into our picks. That would be kind of cool. Like we put who's favored on each side.
Just put that in the mental notes for next week here.
Yep, I'll put a note somewhere. But
yeah, like I say, it'll make it a lot easier and a lot quicker too, to kind of rattle them off. Especially on weeks where we have to pick like 30 games, Make things a lot easier. So with that said, I think I'm going to go with SMU being it's a home game. And I don't know, like if BYU, if Utah really gets that hot or stuff like that, but SMU coming off of a dominant win, albeit against an FCS opponent. Week 0, they had a good win against Nevada. I'm going to go with SMU at home with the 11.5.
I'm also going to agree with SMU only because they have the extra game under their belt. That and also they know how to play in this heat. I don't think BYU knows how to play in this heat because I think Utah, it gets really chilly around this time of year because we're a couple weeks out from fall. We're starting to get into the colder temperatures, especially here in the state of Iowa. It is starting to feel amazing in this state.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all want to plan a trip to Iowa to come check out some of the nice things that we have around here? I know we do. It's just they're hard to remember. I'm not even going to lie to you. But yeah, come take a visit to Iowa sometime. It's really, especially this time of year, gorgeous.
Yeah, September, October are two like the best months of the year just in general for that stuff. So
yeah. Alrighty, moving on down. We're gonna skip game of the week, week 1 or game 1. We're gonna pick that one second to last. But for right now, we're gonna jump down to the Bowling Green Falcons as they travel to Penn State. I don't know what freaking city it is. That's what I'm blanking on.
I want to say it's either
University Park.
University Park. There we go.
They're going to travel to University Park, Beaver Stadium to take on the 8th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. I think we can breeze through this one because the line for this game is 35 points for Penn State.
Give me Penn State.
All right, this next one's going to be interesting. The Arkansas Razorbacks traveled to Oklahoma State, or to Stillwater to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys at Boone Pickens Stadium. This game is only a 10-point favorite for the Cowboys. So this game, I don't know, upset on the horizon, Jake?
Honestly, if it was the other way around, I probably would. But I'm going to still go with Oklahoma State. Like I say, they're at home. In my opinion, they're probably better than Arkansas. Arkansas is kind of a down team this year and stuff like that. I mean, heck, I watch some like college football guys on YouTube that do this like full time and stuff like that, and they're saying that Arkansas is huge. Like their head coach is on the hot seat, so more or less. So
who's this? Oklahoma State or Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I say, I'm not going to confirm nor deny. Just remember hearing that there are rumors about stuff like that, this and the other thing. Plus, like I say, Arkansas just hasn't been great recently over the last like several seasons or so. But give me the Cowboys, especially because they're at home.
I did ask if there was a upset on the horizon. Not when it comes to Arkansas. Yes, I know Arkansas can pull off something miraculous, but I just don't see it happening this week. All right. Next up, this one's going to be really interesting. You've got the Kansas State Wildcats as they travel to New Orleans, Louisiana to take on the Tulane Green Wave. Tulane is a 9-point favorite. Or not Tulane. Kansas State is a 9-point favorite. This one is interesting to me because I'm a Saints fan. Everyone knows this. So Tulane kind of has a little soft spot in my heart because you gotta love the teams around the one city that you cheer for in the NFL. Unless you're Minnesota Vikings fans and you absolutely hate the Golden Gophers, which this one, I don't know which direction he is, but the one to the next to me, actually, no, he's below me. I forgot about that. The one below me does hate the Golden Gophers.
Yeah, I think that's more Elisha. I'm really kind of more neutral on him, personally. Yeah. But especially with what happened last year, though, like I say, when we get back to previewing Iowa and Minnesota, we may or may not bring that up, but that's not for a few weeks yet.
100% getting brought up. That's 100% getting brought up. And Elijah, I hope Elijah is watching this because he's not, but he knows it's probably going to get brought up. Yeah, he knows it's going to get brought up. Like like that's a absolute guarantee that it's going to get brought up. But yeah, Kansas State. I am in the middle of recording, baby. I cannot answer a phone call. Kansas State at New Orleans to take on Tulane. This is tricky. This is tricky because I picked Kansas State to win the Big 12. This game won't technically affect that. For that case, I'm gonna pick Tulane in an upset.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Well, like I say, Trev, if you do have to go take care of something, I can go ahead and kind of just give my thoughts.
Go ahead. Here, I'll bring up the game for you while I can
see what's going on there.
Yeah. All right. Give me just a second, guys. Jake's going to take over here for just a second.
Alrighty then. Well, like Trevor said, he's going with Tulane in the upset. I don't quite feel that same way. I'm leaning more towards K-State in this one. Especially because, well, let's see here. He said it was a 9-point spread, or at least 9-point favorites. Line at 9, over under 47.5. K-State, let's put it this way, K-State is going to be one of those teams this year where if they can get on a hot streak, they're like what Trev just got done mentioning here literally a minute and a half ago, 30 seconds ago, or whatever, He picked K-State to win the Big 12, and this is probably K-State's best chance to win the Big 12, especially with just how crazy the Big 12 is, and they are going to be favored more times than not.
Yeah.
So with that said, I'm going to go with the K-State Wildcats in just a normal pick.
Yeah, because this game's going to be interesting, and I think that's our first difference.
Mm-hmm.
It is our first. No, it's our second. Elijah's picking Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So that's 1, and that's 2.
All right. Yeah, by the way,
Wow.
Elijah, like I say, as we mentioned too, Elijah's busy with other stuff. I mean, he is still at school, boy, after all, and stuff like that. So he already picked his picks, so we might show them at the end. We can show them throughout. However you want to do that. Probably show them at the end and then compare.
Alrighty, moving on down. I think we can run through these next 2, and that is Georgia and Notre Dame, as they will take on 2. One's a group of 5, and one is a FCS team. So Georgia over Tennessee Tech, right?
Yeah, Georgia.
Okay.
What's the line on that one?
On that game? Good question.
Is there a line?
Here, I'll go back to this so that way I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking Georgia. I mean, unless Tennessee Tech can literally pull off the upset of all upsets.
There it is. Do you want to know?
Is it over 40 points?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's all I need to know.
And then Notre Dame will travel to Northern Illinois will travel to South Bend, and that line is only 28 for Notre Dame, but I think
still give me Notre Dame.
I think the luck of the Irish will prevail us. Alrighty, this game. Now, I mentioned this earlier. We have a conference game that's not going to count towards conference records, and that is the Baylor Bears traveling to Salt Lake City to take on the Utes of Utah. Yes, both these teams are Big 12 competitors, but this is not a conference game. This was an agreement deal that I think started last year before Utah made the jump to the Big 12. And they're just finishing out their home and home over the 2-year stretch because they don't play home and home in college football, which I think is kind of stupid. But then again, it wouldn't be as fun if you play the same team twice in 1 year. So, with that, looking at the line for this game, it's right here. Utah is favored by 14.5.
Ooh. By the way, hi, Elijah. He's joining us right now at lunch.
Oh, he has joined us. This might be considered a conference game. This is not a conference game. If it was a conference game, their conference record would show up right next to each team. Because, let me see if there is a conference game this week. Yeah, see? Right here. This one's a conference game, and it has the conference record next to it. This one is not classified as a conference game.
It'll be interesting to see what they do in case this game does mean something at the end of the year, how they determine that. Because, like I say, while they're technically Big 12 opponents, like you said, they're not technically Big 12 if this was an agreed upon thing from years ago.
But the only thing is with that, Jake, is Baylor. If this did get classified as a conference game, that means that both these teams get an unfair advantage. Because both these teams play the same amount of conference games. So if these two teams were to play each other and it is a conference game, that means that Baylor and Utah would have one extra game on everybody.
Alrighty. Well, Anyway, regardless, before we get into a 45-minute argument about
Yeah.
why or how or like the politics behind it, let's just go ahead and pick the game because believe it or not, this will become a rivalry game at some point, even if it isn't
God, no.
technically a rivalry game at this point. But give me the
This
Utes in this one. Yeah, give me the Utes.
give you the Utes.
At home,
I will give you the Utes.
I just here. Can you go back one sec here? Like to
Back
the
to back to the
sheet.
yeah.
And then I'm kind of looking down here.
You don't
All
have
right.
a lock and you don't have an upset yet.
That's why I'm waiting to see because this could turn into the lock, but there's a couple of games I want to see what the lines look like first.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with Utah here because I don't know how good Baylor can be because I know how. Let me rephrase that because I said that wrong. I don't know how good Baylor is going to be. I know how good they can be, but I don't know if they're in the middle of a transition year or if they're already geared up to ready to make another, ready to make a Big 12 conference title run. I don't know that, but judging based off of their first game that they played, which was against Tarleton, I believe that's Tarleton. Yeah, Tarleton State. Actually, to be quite honest, you can't even go based off of that. So I'm not sure how Baylor is going to be this year. I do know that Utah joining the Big 12, this is technically going to be their first test in the Big 12 that doesn't affect them in the Big 12. How
This
to
is very
break your
confusing.
damn brain.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Congratulations, everybody. You just had your brain broken by the brain breaker. But yeah, give me the Utes. I don't see how it can go out again. Alrighty. Here's the question for this game, because we're already picking Bama. Hi, buddy. We're gonna pick Bama in this one. How badly
is the line? Yeah.
How
Yeah, because by the
badly-
way, yeah, for those of you who are wondering how we're doing locks, and this has been agreed upon, is what is it? 15 points and below?
15. So the max you can go is 15. Is negative 15.
Alrighty. And like I say, this was agreed upon above all of us because, I mean, what fun is it to lock in a game that you know it's going to be a 42-point blowout by halftime?
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
So that's more of why we're kind of like strategically doing this and stuff like that. Again, for those of you who were following along from last year and maybe wondering why we're picking what we're picking and how we're picking it, because again, what fun is it when you're just picking 42-point blowouts every week? I mean, especially because locks are worth 2 points or 2 games that could be, you know, very important coming down the stretch.
Which we are just going to total that and then add the win and then add the wins at the end of the season come bowl time.
So yeah, like I say, those wins could be very important. So that's why it's kind of important to know what you're picking here. But yeah, like I say, let's go ahead and it's Bama. I don't think we got to go much further.
The line for this game, actually, how high do you think it is? I'm curious.
I'm gonna say 28.5.
Dude, you're literally off by 2.5.
Was it 26?
31. It's
31. Oh wow.
Dude, okay, hold on. Really quick. Side note. Fanatics has updated their app, so they now have these games that you can earn Fanatics cash for. I asked this dude to help me out with their quad thing, which you have to match up the players/coaches to whatever, to like the correct category. This dude got all 4 on the first fucking try.
While being extremely exhausted and a few beers in.
Exactly. Like, dude clutched up real quick. Okay, Woofy, go.
But anyway.
Go, buddy. Go, buddy. You can sit down. Just can't be pulling on my cord.
So if Trevor randomly goes off air for about 30 seconds, you'll know why. Anyway.
Yeah, I got my dog sitting right next to me. Hi, buddy. You can lay down. Lay down. Lay down, bud. Hold on. I'm getting my dog to lay down. There you go. Go, boy. You can lay down right there. All right. So, all right. Back to Kansas and Illinois. This one's going to be really interesting. Y'all know I hate Kansas. I absolutely hate Kansas. They're on a road test and are only favored by 4.5 in Champaign, Illinois. Jake, what are you thinking?
Ooh. Honestly, I think I'm gonna. Let's see.
This game is also a night game in Champaign. Let me throw that bit of information out here for you.
You know what? Screw it. And this isn't just because, I also follow and root for Iowa State, your Big 12 and all that stuff. Give me the Illini in the upset.
Bang.
Because, like you say, it's at home. It's a night game. I mean, I understand, Elijah, trust me, I know. As also an Iowa guy who watches plenty of Iowa and Iowa State, I know that Illinois isn't the greatest, but like I say, this is probably still going to be my upset because Illinois is at home. Illinois is, scrappy at home. Granted, they're not, great, but hey, like I say, a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. And there really aren't a lot of other games on the I guess, list that really intrigue me outside of maybe Arkansas, but I still feel confident that Oklahoma State can get it done here. And I really, really want my upset pick to be, a different game here, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I don't know why. Just something is telling me Illinois in the upset.
So you can change it later if you want. I'm gonna. Yeah. Elijah says Illinois is not good. Let's look at how they did in their first game. They beat EIU 45-0.
But it's also Eastern Illinois FCS.
True. Kansas is favored in the matchup predictor by 66.9%. Nice.
And plus, like I say, it makes it fun too when we all pick different games and stuff,
True. Because let's be honest, what we fucking pick here won't matter what come to bowl season, because we all know how bowl season can end up.
Oh yeah.
Look at the last 2 seasons that me and Elijah have done this, and look at how last year against me and Jake came down to the goddamn last game of the season.
So.
All right. So with that, Elijah, I think, has Kansas winning. Yes, he does.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think I'm gonna agree with Elijah here and pick Kansas.
Okay. Like I say, I don't have a great feeling about it. I want to make it a little spicy,
Yeah, and that's understandable. All right, this next game is going to be Tennessee and NC State in North Carolina. After good old Rocky Top came off their ween. Where am I from the South? We call them weens, not wins.
About to say, you're from Tennessee there, buddy? Hey.
Tennessee is a road favorite at number 14 versus number 24. They are a 9.5-point favorite. This is a neutral site game. It's in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. You know what? Tennessee's really good at neutral site games. Give me good old Rocky Top.
And I'll double that. Give me Tennessee in this one.
Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Especially because NC State did not look good against Western Carolina.
I don't think they did either. Oh, that's right. No, they didn't. NC State had to pull away in the fourth quarter just to win that game.
So, yeah, granted, like I say, it could just be a case of, maybe outdoing their opponent, but yeah, Vols are a dark horse. Nico is very, very good. Yeah, I mean, The SEC is going to be intriguing to watch, this year, just because with Alabama's new head coach, Georgia still is the top, I'd say, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Next game up, we've got the Houston Cougars traveling to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. Let me look at the line for that real quick. 28 in favor of Oklahoma. Houston coming off their week 1 loss.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
I think that one's an easy walk in the park. I hate the Sooners, but boomer Sooner.
I will say, probably one of my favorite fight songs in the NCAA, though.
Oh, God. This one's going to be really fucking interesting. And we're going to take the time to talk about it. That is going to be the Boise State Broncos traveling to Alton Stadium to take on the Oregon Ducks. Oh, God. Oregon! I'm actually going to say this. Oregon had a difficult time just beating Idaho. Only beating Idaho by 10. But then again, same thing with Boise State. They had a really tough time on the road at Georgia Southern. Boise State hasn't had a home game yet this year. They're opening up their season with back-to-back road games. Good Lord, I would hate to be that organization at the moment. But then again, I love Boise State. Okay, but anyway, the line for this game is 19. I think that's really low. But the reason it's low is because of how Oregon played Idaho.
Is it like the over-under's 19 or Oregon?
That's the spread. The over-under 61.5.
Okay, I was about to say 19 for over-under. What are we watching here? Iowa?
Oh! The fucked up part is that we can't even make that joke anymore after what they did to Illinois State. Good Lord.
I know. And like I said, I could say that as an Iowan too here, but it was just like...
You know what? I might regret this. Oh. Actually, you know what? I'm doing this because I want to. I'm changing my upset pick. Give me the Broncos on an upset. A major upset. I like Boise State. I really do. The only way Boise State wins this ball game is if they decide to put Malachi Nelson back at quarterback. And I think they will. I'm picking the Broncos in a massive upset to shock the college football world because Boise State knows how to do it. They've done it against Oklahoma. They've done it. I don't know what other teams they've done it against, but I know they are. They're literally called the fabled giant killers for a reason.
Wow. Okay. Give me Oregon in this one. And like I say, Boise State, yeah, sure. They have credit where credit's due. I mean, they're part of college football lore forever. I mean, the whole 2-point conversion several years ago, this, that, and the other thing. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. But I just don't see it, especially if Oregon... Well, let's put it this way. If Oregon doesn't turn it around against Boise State and drop like 49 points on them and like hold Boise State to like 10, then there's going to be a lot of questions for Oregon. Because Oregon was considered one of the top dogs in the entire college football landscape. I mean, heck, a lot of the panel were predicting Oregon to make and possibly win the net. And if they struggle against both Idaho and Boise State, granted, I will say they still beat Idaho. Let's not forget about that. They did win. It wasn't pretty, but they did win.
Actually,
if Oregon doesn't come back and just absolutely put the bang thing on Boise State like they're supposed to, then we're going to have a lot more questions on Oregon, right? Whether it be right or wrong. And if Boise State can pull the upset, awesome. But I just don't see it happening.
I do have
especially
an
in
honest,
Autzen.
I do have an honest question. If Boise State doesn't win this game, does that affect their chances at making the college football playoff? Yes or no?
Boise State.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't know how the group of 5 thing
The group
works.
of 5 get an automatic bid because they'll be integrated into the college football playoff somehow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just don't know exactly, like, is it like the best of all the group of 5? Is it like each group of 5 gets a bid? Is it like, that's what I'm going to be concerned about, but I don't know, honestly.
Because if this doesn't affect Boise State to make the college football playoff, then I'm actually gonna change this pick. But if it does, then I need to keep this pick. I don't think it will. So actually, I'm gonna play this one smart.
So you are going to go back
I
to...
am gonna pick Oregon.
Okay.
Because think about this a second. If Oregon actually does lose this game, their chances at making the Big Ten title game is absolutely shot because of this loss.
Especially because, again, as you know, like I just kind of poked a little bit at Iowa there, it's like Iowa's still up there. UCLA, USC are kind of there too. I mean,
Yeah.
well, maybe not so much UCLA, but like USC, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan. I mean, in order for Oregon to really realistically like make a like I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But Oregon, yeah, if Oregon loses to Boise State, there's going to be a lot of questions.
Yeah. Alrighty. Looking at our first of 3 straight FCS games, we've got the South Dakota Coyotes traveling.
Coyotes. It's just Yotes.
Well, they're Coyotes.
No, but we pronounce it Coyotes
Coyotes.
for some reason.
That is odd.
Yeah, I've always found that interesting too, but it is Coyotes.
Okay, then. So the South Dakota Coyotes travel to Madison, Wisconsin to take on the Wisconsin Badgers. There is no line to this game because it is an FCS opponent, and ESPN and every other fucking sportsbook does not like to post lines of FCS games until the day of. It's fucking stupid. Pardon the language, kids.
Mm-hmm.
But give me the Badgers. I'm sorry, Jake, but
yeah,
I know
say,
South Dakota can be good. They're gonna make a run for the Missouri Valley. They really will. I just don't see them beating Wisconsin.
And like I say, real quick here too, as an Iowan, who watches Iowa State, and as a Minnesota professional sports fan, nothing makes me happier than seeing Wisconsin-based teams go down. I mean, I think we can all agree with that one. It's kind of like one of the biggest rivalries is Iowa versus Wisconsin, Minnesota sports, especially Minnesota sports versus Wisconsin sports.
Oh yeah,
but
especially referring to a couple teams to reference here when we're talking about Wisconsin: the Iowa Wild versus the Milwaukee Admirals, the Buccaneers versus the Gamblers, the Barnstormers versus the Blizzard, and then you also have in the sport that you're about to reference the Vikings and the Packers.
Yep. But with that said, though, as much as I'd love to say South Dakota gets the upset, it's got to be Wisconsin just because Camp Randall, I mean, at least I think they're Camp Randall, right?
Yep.
Okay. Camp Randall, I mean, that's always a tough place to play regardless of what team you are. But, and like as an FCS opponent, I mean, I would love nothing than to be wrong with this one, but I just don't see it. I'm not saying we're going to get blown out or lose by 40 on the other hand, but I feel like this is going to be probably like a 15, 20 point loss, by a couple scores, 3-score type of thing. But yeah.
All right. We move down to the first of our 3 Iowa games that we're predicting this week. Yes, I said 3. It's because of the title. Let's get to the first one. The only team to win a conference title in the state of Iowa. I'm going to keep mentioning that until someone else does it in the last few years. The Drake Bulldogs, they will travel to the Inferno in Eastern Washington to take on the Eastern Washington Eagles. My second favorite colored field. I think I've shown this before. I just got to show this real quick because this is freaking gorgeous of a football stadium. If I can get the image up. Hold up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also while he does that real quick, we got some breaking NFL news. I don't know if we mentioned this earlier or not, but Dolphins and Jalen Ramsey agree on a 3-year, $72.3 million extension, making him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL.
Jesus.
Yeah. Literally just got that notification.
There you go. That's the field that Drake's going to play on. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. There's a reason it's called the Inferno. The field is red. I like to call it Hellfire because that just sounds like a much better. That sounds way better, personally. But back to the sheet here. I don't think they have a line for this game because we all know how they don't like to put lines in for FCS games. But let's take a look here. Where is Drake at? That's Tennessee State. Did I miss them? The hell? Oh, there they are. No, there's not a line for this game. But it is a 6 p.m. kick in Cheney, Washington. I think I'm going to stick with Drake. Drake is also coming off a rained out ball game that won't be finished. So Drake is looking to get their first win on the year.
And I'm going to go with Eastern Washington because they're at home. And I think they're actually ranked in the FCS too. I'm not 100% sure.
I think they are too. I'm surprised Drake isn't, with them being one of the teams that actually won a conference title. But then again, they also turned around and they got their ass slapped by NDSU. We don't talk about that. Alrighty.
Well, to be fair, NDSU's done that to a lot of teams, though, so don't be too upset. Anyway.
Next up, it's the Northern Iowa Panthers as they will take on the St. Thomas Tommies. Give me the Panthers in this one.
I'm going to go with Panthers as well.
Alrighty. Oh, hold on. My dog's... I don't know what my dog's doing. Alrighty. Last but not least, or second to last but not least, let's travel back to the noontime slate. Travel to Ann Arbor, Michigan, as the Michigan Wolverines get ready for a top 10 matchup. Against the newly SEC Texas Longhorns. And I know how we feel about the Longhorns, Jake. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to affect your pick in this game?
No, but what are the lines and stuff?
Good question. Let's get those pulled up real quick here. Oh, crud. I could have just pulled it up because it's the freaking game up top. Gamecast. It is number 3 traveling to number 10. Texas is favored by 7. Because Michigan had a difficult time with trying to finish out Fresno State, but Colorado State had the worst luck in week 1 as they lost. They got shut out by these Longhorns.
Ooh, this is tough. And you said it's 7-point for Texas?
It's a 7-point road favorite for the Longhorns.
You know what?
Oh, here, I'll bring that up for you.
Okay. I think I'm going to lean, man. Just because, like I say, this is the game of the week.
Yep. Just to give you an idea as to who's picked who so far, Elijah has Texas.
I think I'm going to go with Texas as well. As much as I may not be, a Texas fan or anything like that, I don't know. I just feel better about Texas over Michigan. So, and then while you do that real quick, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. So
okay, I'll bring you off for remove you, and then I'll re-add you here when you come back.
Okay.
All right. So, freaking stick. Hold on here, folks. I gotta figure that out. There we go. This actually looks way better. But yeah, Jake will be right back. So let's get to this game. This game's going to be interesting, especially for me. This game's actually going to be in a real crisp weather in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Fox Big Noon kickoff, as everyone knows. I really think this game can be really, really, really close, especially with it being in Ann Arbor. If this game was a night game, I would definitely be picking Michigan. However, with Texas being the number 3 team in the nation, I can't pick against the Longhorns. As much as I absolutely hate the Longhorns, I am going to pick Texas. It sucks because I prefer A&M in the SEC because I had family that went there. I just can't see anything. I just don't see Texas doing anything else. Or Michigan doing anything else. All right. We're on to the last game of the week. Our game of the week, game 2. As I wait for Jake to come back, as he has just got back. Yep. And we're on to Cy-Hawk, Iowa State. This is going to suck for me because I always pick Iowa State every year. Jake knows this. The line opened up as a 2-point favorite for Iowa. It has now switched to 3 in favor of Iowa. Jake, I think I know who you're picking. I'm going to let you pick. I think you will pick this game first, and I think I know who you're picking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as a native Iowan who loves following, just college football in the state of Iowa in general, it's always fun watching these two. I've always been weird like that. I've always kind of followed both of the teams. And then when Cy-Hawk plays, it just makes it that much fun. But honestly, it's probably, with all the injuries that have been happening with Iowa State, some of their key defensive players, I'm going to have to go with the Hawkeyes, especially with it being at Kinnick. And I think this will be, you're really going to love me, but this will probably end up being my lock. Because I need a lock, and while this isn't necessarily the easiest game to pick, I just feel like Iowa has a better chance at home with the injuries of Iowa State. However, with that said, Iowa State has had a better history, at least of recently, in Kinnick versus at Trice. So that could be something to add into it, but I just think all the injuries and stuff like that, no trolling, no trash talk, no, making fun of Iowa earlier type of jokes and stuff like that. It's the truth. I mean, when you're injured and you have a lot of key injuries and stuff like that, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to take the Hawks in this one as my
And
lock.
you know what?
I know this is going to hurt like hell.
It does. The only reason I'm picking Iowa is because I don't think Iowa State's going to have a defense. Caleb Bacon's done for majority of the year. And so is, I don't know who else on defense, but it's two key players on defense that the Iowa State's missing. And I have no idea how Iowa State can figure out that Iowa defense. I mean, look how Illinois State did. And they're one of the top teams in the FCS level. So, yeah, as much, I will still cheer on Iowa State, but to be smart and to not lose a game, because I already have a 1-game lead, I have to pick Iowa. And that absolutely stings for me. And I need to pick a lock for this week. What was the closest line that we've seen in between all of these games? Was it Tennessee and NC State?
I believe so.
Let me look. What was Tennessee and NC State's line? 9.5. I'm going to make Tennessee my lock. I'm going to make Tennessee my lock. Because I don't want to make Iowa a lock, but I'm pretty sure Elijah's like, if Elijah's going to look at this and he's going to be like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know. I can already see the comment later.
I'm sorry, what? An Iowa State fan picked Iowa? That hates Iowa?
Yeah, that's, like I say, that's like a USD fan picking Wisconsin this week. I mean, you've got to pick correctly here. It's not just about the heart, but it's also about your head too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I see. I just don't see. Iowa may blow the hell off of Iowa State this week. I'm so glad I'm going to be at work during this game because I don't want to watch this game. I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. Oh. I'm so glad I'm going to be at this. I'm so glad I'm going to be at work. Ah, shit. Not what I want. Not what I want either. Still no. Thank you. Yeah, guys. I hurt. I might need to go get a surgery. Maybe go get my brain examined. Sorry, all you Cyclone fans, but like I said this the last 2 years. I don't know how Iowa could have beaten Iowa State with how their offense is. Now with Iowa State not having a defense, I don't see how the reverse happens. I don't. It's a curse to say that as a Cyclone fan. But I'm being smart. I'm picking Iowa only because I don't want the difference. We already have 4 differences in... Oh, we can stop sharing now. We already have 4 differences in Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Tulane, Kansas State, Tulane, Kansas and Illinois, and then Drake and Eastern Washington. Am I the only one that picked Eastern Drake? No, Elijah also did pick Drake. Okay. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it. I'm not looking forward to the game tomorrow. I really am not. God, please forgive me for all of my sins because I picked Iowa over Iowa State. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, I got stuff I got to go do today. I'm pretty sure Jake's got stuff he's got to do today as well. Trevor picked Iowa? What? There's the comment. Yep, I picked Iowa because I don't know how Iowa State's going to beat Iowa. Jay is surprised. I know, right? It hurt. All right. So yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for us. I've got stuff I gotta go do. And so does Jake. Jake, any final thoughts on this week? Maybe.
No, I mean, like I say, it should be fun. Obviously, Cyhawk is always a fun time in, the upper Midwest, especially in Iowa and stuff like that. And there actually are there are a lot better competitive games, but there's still a lot of, obviously we won't really get into, the really good, juicy matchups until we get more into, conference playing stuff, because there's still a lot of, Group of 5 versus FBS and, FCS versus FBS, but yeah, I mean, like I say, should be another good week. We're in week 2 already, and week 1 of the NFL season kicks off on Sunday. So actually, it's already kicked off
last night.
And then we have a game tonight.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I say, we may sprinkle a little NFL in during the season while we do CFP, but we're not planning on really doing actual NFL predictions, just because way too much going on.
Yeah, we're already busy as it is, and with Elijah still doing cross country, we're not going to be able to do both. So we're just going to stick with college, because let's be honest, college is way better than the NFL. There, I said it. College is better than the NFL. And yes, that is because of the last 10 years of misery that my Saints have gone through. Actually, hold on. Let me just say the thought that just went through your head. Buddy, you don't have room to talk.
Pretty much.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. We still did pretty good on time this week. But then again, we had a lot more games to talk about rather than gunning through everything. But Jake, thank you once again for taking the time to come back on and do these.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And guys, we will catch you guys we'll get you guys next week, where Iowa State actually has a bye week next week. So we won't be picking an Iowa State game next week, but we do have a Hawkeye game to pick. But let's see if this works, because I wanted to start this with the stream. I'm going to end this if this works. And remember, week 1 game of the week, the winner was
Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us